Hi, I'm Kathy Tuffy, Chair of the Braintree Democratic Town Committee. On Saturday, Braintree, Randolph, and Holbrook Dems co-hosted a candidate Zoom-A-Thon. We were successfully able to record and share 5 of those candidate forums, but unfortunately, the candidate forum for state rep didn't record and save properly. We apologize to both Representative Cusack and Paul Hennessy for this error. I do have a recording of both candidates for state rep, Mark Cusack and Paul Hennessy, speaking to Braintree Dems at our August 13th meeting. I am going to share that here. And in addition, Jesse Gordon, chair of Randolph Dems, took notes of the Q&A at Saturday's forum, and I will post those comments in the comments section. I hope this helps you make your decision for who to vote for, and everybody go out there and vote. This is an important election for everybody. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you very much, and good evening to everyone. State Rep Mark Cusack, running for re-election. And just want to touch on my record of delivering for Braintree. Over the past 10 years in office, brought home nearly $300 million in state funding back to the town. And just a quick highlight to those, over $160 million for public schools, including a recent $300,000 I was able to secure for remote learning expenses the town is incurring and will occur in the future. And also wanted to note that despite the pandemic and the economic crisis we are in as a state and a town, it was very important to me and my colleagues to fully fund Chapter 70 education funding and unrestricted local aid this year, despite the revenue impacts we are seeing. With the difficulties cities and towns are having and as parents are having about sending their kids back to schools, we want to make sure that we certainly weren't adding to any issues by cutting funding, which would lead to layoffs and staff reductions in many communities. So we fully funded our commitment, plus $107 million to keep up with inflation costs this year ahead of us. Also with the schools, been very proud to work with the MSBA and local officials to secure funding, school construction funds for our schools, and 71 million, 40 million for East, and 31 million we were able to secure an authorization for South. In terms of local aid for town services, it's over $50 million, gotten $10 million for local roads. I've worked with MassDOT to repave all state roads and to improve, especially along the Route 37 corridor, all ADA compliant sidewalks. Over $900,000 additional funding for our police and fire services, $600,000 for our community partnership on substance use, $300,000 in traffic and parking improvements, and $200,000 in state funding for the expansion of the Department of Elder Affairs, which was completed a few years back. This past session, as you may know, I've been chairing the Revenue Committee in the House. And recently I've been serving on the Commonwealth Committee on Recovery and Resiliency to address the issues we're seeing with the pandemic. As Chair of Revenue, I oversaw the first vote and debate on the Fair Share Amendment. Again, we'll be taking that up in the first year session next year in order to line it up for the 2022 ballot. Also led the debate in the House on transportation revenue, the package we put together back in March to fund our transportation system. And I'm currently on the Transportation Conference Committee dealing with the transportation bond. So we're negotiating with the Senate, me and 2 of my rep colleagues and the 3 senators to work out a deal on an $18 billion bond authorization for a transportation system. This past session obviously was going smoothly like everything else until COVID hit. But in light of COVID, we have extended session past our normal deadline of July 31st. And some of the bills we were able to get done recently, the climate change bill, the 2050 roadmap, which will put us on the path to being carbon neutral. by 2050. And there's a lot of great stuff in that bills for energy, renewable energy, including working with Beld as they expand their portfolio of renewable energy.
Oh, we're not hearing you, Mark. There you
Is
go.
that better?
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
I don't know how far back that goes, but the climate change in that bill, I co-sponsored an amendment that passed successfully in terms of environmental justice. For the first time would be defined in state statute and would give us more resources to prevent such projects like the compressor station in the Fall River and to protect that environmentally sensitive area, as well as on the other side of the district, the Holbrook transfer station, which is planned on the former Beard McGuire site on the banks of the Cochato River, which is an aquifer for our three towns reservoirs. We also did an eco development bill, put funding in there to really help our small businesses and restaurants that are struggling, obviously, because of the pandemic. And another one was to codify really what the governor started with his executive order around telehealth. Telehealth has proved to be a huge benefit to people across the state during this pandemic, so that they don't have to leave their homes to seek medical advice. So we codified that in statute and primarily focused on the three most effective areas, which is primary care, chronic diseases, and mental health. So making sure that people can still access telehealth going forward whenever this pandemic does end. I know you still have to hear from Mr. Hennessy, and also I want to leave plenty of time for any questions. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Kathy.
Thank you very much. Okay, Paul, can you unmute yourself and we will try again?
Okay. So, yeah, I want to thank Chairwoman Tuffy and the rest of the members for having me back again. I spoke to you guys in June. In June, I felt I was a little rushed. I was trying to read a lot of information. Fortunately, all that information now is up on my website, electpaulhennessy.com, my complete candidate bio there, and a lot of issues-based posts are there as well, with more to come. A little bit about why I'm running. I know that I can do an excellent job representing the people and keeping them informed of what's going on up at the State House. We all know, as Mr. Cusack said, we're facing some tough times locally, at the state level, all across the country. Look forward to helping us navigate those in the most effective ways possible. One thing I'm really passionate about, you'll see it on all my posts, and I've said it in public before, I would really like to greatly increase constituent services, participation, and input. I'd also like to make sure I keep people informed of what's going on with regular posts, either on Facebook or a blog type thing. As most of us know, not a lot of that has been going on. How would I do that specifically? I would be holding regular office hours, and whether that would be able to be in person or not remains to be seen. Maybe it could be outside. Maybe it could be here on Zoom, via phone, whatever we have to do to stay in touch. I would be available to you on an ongoing basis, not just during the office hours. I would absolutely get back to you when you reached out to me in my office. I know I hear a lot of people saying that's not going on now. And again, keep you informed of what's happening up at the State House on a regular basis. I never see any information coming down to us, and that should really change. All the issues that we're facing, I've been posting about them regularly, and I will continue to post in these last few weeks. I really want input and participation from people. I've asked repeatedly, please reach out to me. Let me know what you'd like me to discuss, what's important to you, what you want to see handled, and how you'd like to see it handled. I really think that this representative position should be a partnership between the representative and the people. You'd be sending me up there to represent us, not me. And again, I'm looking for participation from you guys and input and obviously feedback. I find a lot of times people want to quiz, if you will, the candidate on where they stand on issues. And while that's extremely important, of course, it's almost more important that I hear from you where you stand on the issues, and we come to a consensus and an agreement. And again, it's a partnership. To me, I'm always open-minded. I'm a critical thinker. I take each issue, each person, each bill, each amendment as it comes. I base my thoughts and my position on the merits of that particular thing. I don't care what side of the aisle it comes from. If it makes sense for us, it makes sense for us, and I'll support it. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. It doesn't matter who proposes it.
Thank you.
So I don't know if I'm getting near 5 minutes. I imagine I am. I just want to thank you all again for having me. I appreciate it. And please keep your eye on electpaulhennessy.com and also on Facebook, Paul Hennessy, State Representative. And again, I look forward to hearing from you with your feedback and your input. Thank you.